Well, there is a lot going on right now. Chaos is breaking out, not only here in the United States of America, but all over the globe. But while all of this is happening, there is one particular thing that is getting overlooked that should not. And it's not really getting enough attention that it should, but that is the fact that Donald Trump has his eyes on Greenland. In fact, they are currently looking into how to acquire the country. One has to ask, why does Donald Trump want to do this? Well, I have just came across some rather interesting information regarding a mega secret that is lurking well below Greenland's ice sheets that I believe could be one of the main reasons why Donald Trump wants to acquire the country. And guess what? The mainstream media, not one word from them, except for dailymail.co.uk, not a domestic media source. But anyway, there's a lot more going on. But why would Donald Trump want to acquire Greenland? Well, for starters, they do have some resources, right? Obviously, this would be beneficial to our country here, and you could see this. But I don't believe it's one of the main reasons why Donald Trump is looking into it. This is on Brookings.com, and it's titled "The Greenland Gold Rush Promise and Pitfalls of Greenland's Energy and Mineral Resources." So here's some of the resources that they have: iron ore, lead, zinc, diamonds, gold, rare earth elements, uranium, and oil, and they're becoming more accessible. The problem with some of the resources in Greenland is they are very hard to access, right? So, but they're coming up with new ways and all of that. But again, I don't think this is one of the main reasons and as to why that's happening. Now, we also know that the population of Greenland, and I'm rounding up here, but it's between 55,000 people and 56,000 people. So it's very sparse in its and how many people are there. And the main thing is they are also a member of NATO. So Greenland is a member of NATO. Obviously, we are a member of NATO. And then the other thing is it's an autonomous territory that falls under the sovereign boundaries of Denmark. That's why Denmark is kind of getting their nose involved, and you hear Denmark with Greenland a lot. In fact, Denmark actually established colonial control over Greenland in the 18th centuries and then allowed it to become autonomous in the 20th century. So that gives you kind of a brief breakdown of Denmark itself. But there's a few other reasons why we would really want Denmark. In fact, Donald Trump tells us exactly why in this video. But before I get into this video, I got to give a quick shout out to my sponsor, Noble Gold Investments. Look, without them, I would not be here. You know, if you're over 40 years old and you're planning to retire someday, the window to protect what you've built may be smaller than you realize. But you've got to ask yourself, is your portfolio built for what's coming ahead? As retirement moves from someday to on the horizon, protecting what you've built becomes just as important as growing it. And that's where my friends at Noble Gold Investments come in. They can really help you reduce risk by adding gold and silver to your portfolio, especially in light of what's going on with the dollar. If you want to give them a call today, I want to encourage you to do that at 1-877-646-5347. Let them know you heard it on Lisa Haven, because they are giving away, this is a beautiful 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin you see on the screen here. It's freaking thick, but it comes with any new and qualified or approved account. So make sure you give them a call or go to lisahavengold.com, fill out this information, click email me my wealth kit, and they'll send you a wealth kit absolutely for free. And by the way, there's always a risk to investing. There's never a guarantee. If you want more info, click that more button on your cell or click the link in the description box below. All right. So what is it that Donald Trump said in this video about the real reason he claims he wants to acquire Greenland? We'll take a listen to what he says here. And this was posted by Eric Daughtry on X.
I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security, and Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you. You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true.
Sir,
they thought that was a great move.
What would the justification be for a claim to Greenland? What would the justification
I don't want to talk about Greenland now. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. and the European Union needs us to have it, and they know that. I will.
And that's it. The European Union needs us to have it, and we need it for national security. This has been Donald Trump's point that he says over and over again. Now, if you actually look at some of the maps, I don't think he's wrong at all in that assessment. I think this is one of the main reasons Donald Trump is actually trying to acquire the country. And I'm going to get into how in a moment. That's where it gets a little more interesting. And I'm not talking about what's below the ice sheet yet. I haven't got to that intriguing part. You're going to be blown away. But here we have Denmark, right? You can see Denmark and that Arctic Ocean there at the top between us and Russia. So what you notice right off the bat is Greenland kind of plays as that protection barrier, if you will, against big old Russia over here, right? So that's one. So it kind of serves as that barrier because we in the United States are right down here, right? So you can kind of see that there if you got a picture of it. But there's that. And then if we go over one more map, what you're looking at in this map, all of these things right here are like military bases that they have. And this is Russia. Boop, boop. X marks the spot for Russia. And this is the United States of America. And here is Greenland, right? So we have the country of Greenland. And we've got, again, a barrier here from some of these military bases when coming into the United States. So strategically speaking, it is a very important move for us in the United States of America, right? And then we also have this. This is a PBS article. Here's why Trump says the U.S. needs to acquire Greenland for Arctic security. And they actually get into a pretty good reason here. It says, in 2018, China declared itself a near Arctic state in an effort to gain more influence in the region. China also announced plans to build Polar Silk Road as part of its Global Belt and Road Initiative, which was created economic links with countries around the world. Mike Pompeo rejected this move, saying, do we really want the Arctic Ocean to transform into a new South China Sea, fraught with militarization and competing territorial claims? We don't. This could put us when it comes to international affairs in a very bad situation if we were to go to battle with someone. And then also Russia, right, has also sought to insert their influence over the wide areas of the Arctic in competition with the U.S., Canada, Denmark, and Norway. They have also sought to boost their military presence in the polar region, home to its northern fleet and a site where the Soviet Union tested nuclear weapons. Russian military officials have said that the site is ready for resuming the test if necessary. And then, of course, they've been restoring the old Soviet infrastructure in the Arctic as well and building new facilities. So you can see that the acquisition of Greenland would be very strategic for the United States of America when it comes to potential battles with international countries, right? So I think Donald Trump is 100% right on why he wants to acquire it. But there's a little twist to that because something has come up kind of, shall we say, under the ice of Greenland that I think also shouts utmost importance as to why Donald Trump wants to acquire Greenland. And no one in the mainstream media is talking about it, right? Take a look at what I'm talking about here. And this is on the dailymail.co.uk. Hidden threat from secret military base discovered lurking deep below Greenland's ice sheet. Scientists are sounding urgent alarms over a hidden Cold War threat buried deep beneath Greenland's rapidly melting ice sheet. A long-abandoned U.S. military base known as Camp Sentry was recently rediscovered under the ice after a NASA pilot conducting airborne radar tests captured images of its underground remains. The base, built in secret during the Cold War, lies about 118 feet below the surface and spreads across an area roughly 0.7 miles long and 0.3 miles wide. Now, the question is, what's going on with this base there, and why would we want to acquire an older base, right? But scientists say that the buried base represents a very different kind of security threat, one tied not to military rivals, but to pollution unleashed, right? And here is kind of a picture of that military base, some of the hidden things that are inside of it. But it goes on to state this, and I think this is an important factor, right? A team of international researchers led by the Cooperative Institute for Research and environmental scientists at the University of Colorado Boulder estimated that Camp Sentry contains about 9,200 tons of physical waste, including abandoned buildings, tunnels, and rail infrastructure. The site also holds about 200,000 liters of diesel fuel and significant amounts of PCBs, polyochlorinated biphenyls, toxic chemicals once widely used in paints and electrical equipment. PCBs are especially concerning because they don't break down easily and are linked to cancer, immune system damage, and developmental problems. The Arctic's cold climate has trapped these chemicals for decades, eventually turning the region into a global storage site for pollution released elsewhere. As the ice melts, however, scientists warn the glaciers could become a new source of pure toxic contamination. This is a problem, folks. This is a problem if it were to get out. But in addition to all the chemicals, right, Camp Century also contains radioactive material from the nuclear reactor coolant system. When it was buried in the early 1960s, the waste had radioactivity about 1.2 billion becquerels, roughly equivalent to the radiation of a single medical scan. While small compared to major nuclear accidents, researchers caution that its presence adds yet another layer of risk of contained fails. Remember, this is all in a tunnel system beneath the ice. So there's no promises that it's just going to sit there and behave forever. Here's some images inside the facility you could see there, by the way, and another picture. This is on the top of the facility, so you've got a little bit there as well. But the problem is, right, that if some of this containment were to get out and the ice would melt, this could cause devastation, cancer, effects, radioactive effects on the people living in the area. So maybe another reason why Donald Trump wants it is to take care of some of the issues in that area. And obviously they could do some of it now, but I think if we acquire the country, right, I think we can do it a lot more quietly and whatnot regarding all of that. Now, how are they going to acquire it? Well, Caroline Leavitt was very clear, and Donald Trump is very clear about it. They're actually trying to buy the country of Greenland. Take a listen here.
Reports that the U.S. could potentially buy Greenland as one potential option on the table. What would such an offer look like? Is there anything monetarily you could provide, any details there?
Well, that's something that's currently being actively discussed by the president and his national security team. And I would point out that the acquisition of Greenland by the United States is not a new idea. This is something that presidents dating back to the 1800s have said is advantageous for America's national security. The president has been very open and clear with all of you and with the world that he views it in the best interest of the United States to deter Russian and Chinese aggression in the Arctic region. And
So I think that's the main point of it. He wants to deter Russia and China aggression in the region. And again, I think there's also more things that play into it, but they're looking into buying it. This is not anything new for the United States of America. So all the libtards out there who are saying, oh my God, this is crazy. It's not crazy. It's actually something that I think is very well needed. We have done this a lot in the history's past, right? Here's just a quick Wikipedia thing. When we think about the Louisiana Purchase, we purchased that from France, $15 million. Florida East and West purchased from Spain, about $5 million. Mexican secession from Mexico, $15 million. Gadsden Purchase from Mexico, about $10 million. So these are things that have happened in the past, right? We have purchased property and we've done it before. So there is nothing shocking about what's going on with Greenland. In fact, Donald Trump is actually offering money to the citizens there, or at least this is being discussed. I don't know if it's official. This is the Economic Times, $10,000 to $100,000 per person. Trump planning cash offer for Greenlanders to buy island for the U.S. So if you live in Greenland and you're like, hey, I could get $10,000 to $100,000. Hey, if we give them $10,000, we're talking about, there's about 56,000 people there, 560 million. We give them 100,000. Now we're talking billion, $5.6 billion. So, there are actually a lot of Greenlanders out there who are like, yeah, let's acquire it. Let's let U.S. Take control, right? Denmark's got a little bit of a pushback, but there's not much they can do, obviously. Now, of course, the United States has come out. There's been chatter on the U.S. saying, hey, nothing's off the table when it comes to Greenland. And this is all the mainstream media is really saying about it, of course, because they're jaded. Rubio says Trump wants to buy Greenland while the White House dangles military option. What's this military option? Well, this is also ABC News. U.S. military is always an option for Trump to acquire Greenland. White House officials say, here's the deal. As a president, you never say military is off the table. You never, ever, ever say anything like that. It's ridiculous. And yet ABC, MSNBC, and all of them are making a big deal of it. But that's not what the case is. Donald Trump is really looking into acquiring it financially. And they're already in talks over it, at least with Denmark and Greenland. This is the AP. Denmark, Greenland envoys meet with White House official over Trump's call for I'm not even going to say that last part because it's not legitimate to say. It's fake news. Anyhow, I wanted to share all of that with you guys. And here, if Greenland doesn't want it, okay, fine. We'll move on from there. But money talks. I hate to say it. Anyhow, I love you guys. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this entire thing. And I look forward to all of your comments. And by the way, I'm going to be doing an extended version over on Restricted Republic, right? There is a lot going on domestically that I cannot bring up here. I can't even discuss it. It'll be poofed away. But if you want to hear what's going on internally in the United States of America about the situation in Tim Walz's area, I'm going to be breaking it down. Go to Restricted Republic, use the coupon code Lisa and the number 5 to get it for $5 per month. I really hope to see you there. We post exclusive content every day there, 5 days a week at least. And by the way, it costs less than a cup of coffee, $5 a month, and you get notified. YouTube hasn't been sending notifications. So get to restrictedrepublic.com and check us out there to see that extended version. Anyhow, I love you all. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.